I've just spent a week on Sun Princess cruise ship, and in today's video I want to give you the good, the bad, and of course my tips along the way. And if you stick around till the end, I'll tell you whether I think you should book your trip on Sun Princess. Let's do it. Alright guys, let's start off with the Piazza, the heart of the ship, the hub of the ship, let's say. And as I've said before, I do like it. It is pretty, it's modern. I like the fact it's set over 3 layers, like an auditorium, so it makes it a great entertainment venue, and they do have performances here, they have live music here, and it feels very functional, and that's great. But I prefer the style of Piazza on Sky Princess. Now, I haven't been on tons of cruise ships, so I can't really compare massively, but what I can compare to is the more classical, the more aesthetically beautiful Piazza on Sky Princess. And if I'm honest, I prefer it. But functionality is also important. Having enough seating is also important. Allowing guests to come and relax and sit down and enjoy, sit by the bars, sit by the Piazza, watch the entertainment on this amazing digital screen. Natural light, as I said, is fantastic. It is so much brighter and airier in here because of it. But if I'm choosing between the two, I prefer the more classical feel. I guess that's just the style I like. And it does come down to style, right? When I walked on the other one, I thought, wow. When I walked on this one, I thought, oh, that's nice. So it's just a different vibe. It's not the end of the world. People like different things. And I've spent many evenings in here watching the entertainment and having a drink and having a cocktail and doing all sorts of things. So there's definitely not a big gripe. But when you catch it at the right angle, it is great. And as I say, and for entertainment, it's set up perfectly. So you can't complain about that at all. But maybe it's just me. So tell me in the comments, I'd be interested to know, what do you guys think? You've probably been on more cruises than me, if it's not your first time. Do you like this Piazza? Or do you prefer the more classical style Piazzas on other Princess ships? Let me know. All right guys, next up we have Stateroom. And ignore the mess, I'm starting to get ready to leave and pack, unfortunately. But my stateroom, I won't go into too much detail. I mean, we've done a room tour in another video. If you want to see that video, it's my first impressions of Sun Princess. But I love my stateroom. It's clean, it's fresh. You have a huge bed, very comfy bed. I have been sleeping well. Once I got into the fact that I'm on a cruise ship, I'm a bit iffy when I'm moving around places, but once I got used to it, I've been sleeping very well, very comfortable. 4 comfortable pillows, nice bathroom. I don't need to show you the bathroom, but nice bathroom, clean, fresh, strong shower, warm shower, which is important. And of course, in this room, in this stateroom, this mini cabana stateroom, I have the balcony. And you cannot beat waking up and overlooking the view of port where you are, or waking up and overlooking the ocean. I love it, I love it, I love it. And I recommend, do spend the extra money and get a balcony, because it does make all the difference, trust me. I know you might not spend so much time in your room, but just having that little bit of luxury is worth it, I think. What I don't understand, and I'm struggling for my use, let's say, is the use of the cabana. I haven't found a use for it. And I did say that to someone, and they said, well, it's for relaxing, of course. But if I'm relaxing out here, or I'm relaxing on the sofa, not now, because it's a bit messy, or I'm relaxing on bed. And whilst I get the idea of it in terms of, you know, I understand it, I'd rather have a bigger balcony or a bigger room. So for me, maybe not the cabana mini suite, but for you guys, I mean, someone actually, I did say, I mentioned that to, and they said, oh, my wife wakes up later than me, so when I wake up, I come out into the cabana and watch TV in the cabana, and she can carry on sleeping. So if you have little things like that, it makes sense. But for me, I prefer just a normal, put me in a suite. No, I'm kidding. But yeah, really happy with my room, really happy with my stateroom, and it gets cleaned and made up twice a day. Can't complain at that of the staff who do that. It's absolutely spotless. And the other thing is you get all your things, your information. I've got my tags for getting off the ship, but every day things drop into your room for that day, and it tells you what's happening. It tells you the timings of things. It tells you what's on, all of the information that you need. Of course, you have it all on your TV too, so it's all here. Everything you need is in your stateroom. So yeah, can't complain. Just get that balcony, guys. Get that balcony. The rest of the ship is undeniably beautiful. Cannot say anything wrong about that, especially this place, the Dome, my favorite spot on the entire ship. And finally it's open again because it was closed for a couple of days for maintenance. But my God, they have put some thought, they've put some effort to making this place beautiful. Whether it is the Dome, whether it is the pool areas, whether it is the level 6 main dining room and the bars at the back of the ship, which is absolutely stunning when you're moving and the sun is setting with the infinity pool and the bar area back there. I mean, yeah, some of these views, you get some glimpses down the ship or across the water and you just think, wow, this is special. This is one of the places for me. I mean, I cannot get enough of this place. Coming and chilling here and just relaxing, bit of entertainment on the pool here. This is a pool that goes underneath the screen and the stage. And you can go from outside to in because there is an area in front of this. But overall, this ship is absolutely stunning. And as stunning as other ships that I've seen. I said the pool areas and the lounge areas were pretty. I'll just remind you again of what they look like if you've not seen it on the other videos. But they are, and there's plenty of deck chairs. That's the other thing that I've noticed, lounges and deck chairs. No matter how busy it is on a sea day, there's always space, there's always somewhere to sit. I haven't struggled with that, but this is, again, the main pool area, and there are various pool areas, but again, look how pretty it is. And especially when you have blue sky, and we're in port, so you have nice scenery around, but even when you're cruising, I mean, it is absolutely beautiful. Can't complain at all, and always clean, always clean. Water's changed, you see them cleaning it, they're cleaning it now. The other thing I like, in terms of the ship, is if you do want some added privacy or you want a more bespoke experience, you can do that. You can also come to this place, the Sanctuary. It's absolutely stunning. It is private and it is an added extra. On a port day, it's $79, and on a sea day, it's $99, and you get access to this area, which has its own bar, its own pool, its own jacuzzis, and there are cabanas here. And for $499, for up to 4 people, you can have your own cabana with TV and mini bar and other such things. I mean, it is a treat, it is a luxury, of course, but when it's as beautiful as this, if you want a little bit of a treat and you want a little bit of privacy, I think it's a pretty good option. And as I say, Princess and these cruises on Princess are all about having, you know, tailoring your own holiday. It is your holiday after all, and you're not forced down one path. You can choose, and I love it. I have spent time here. It's a very nice, relaxing place, especially on a sea day as the world is drifting by. Just to close this segment off, you would be forgiven for thinking that maybe the ship is set up so you have to top yourself up on these extras to have a good time. And there's not a bit of it. I think you could come here and just enjoy the package that you have, stay in all of the communal areas and have an absolutely fantastic trip. But the point is, the option is there for you. And that's what I like anyway. Last thing to note would be, because it is a new ship, there is, of course, process improvement, teething problems, getting everything working exactly as it should be. And yes, you could say, well, it should come out like that, but that's not reality, is it? Things do need refining and processes do need embedding to give peak experience. And when you go on some of the other ships, remember, they've been sailing for a long time, so that is working. So I have heard from people who have been on the ship for quite a little time now, you know, since first sailing, or maybe even a month or so, that you can see the improvement in things and things are being refined. So it is happening. So maybe by the time you watch this video and get onto the ship, they will all be ironed out. But there are a few little niggly things which just need tweaking, I would say. But that wouldn't stop me coming on for sure, because they are things that need tweaking. And I think it is inevitable. Anyway, this more than makes up for those things. Let's be honest. All right, food. And I'll try and keep this one concise, because as you probably know by now, I can go on and on and on about food. But the food on board has been fantastic. Overall, fantastic. Cannot complain at all. Things I love are the tiers. I love that you have different tiers, from complimentary to casual, like the pizza that we had, the speciality restaurants, the 7 speciality restaurants that we ate at, and then the experiential. So of course, if you're on the normal package or the basic package, you can come and just eat in the complimentary restaurants, in the eatery, in Horizon's main dining room, and the quality of the Horizon's main dining room, let me tell you, is fantastic. To get that consistency and quality coming out as a complimentary package is, yeah, it's impressive. You also have the Americana dining room. There are plenty of options, as well as what I've got now, which is, well, I've gone with the Princess Burger from the Promenade Grill, same as the grill on top at the Lido Grill, where the pools are, so we should probably just try it. Tasty burger, and those things, they serve their purpose. They're easy, you have choice, they're available. They are what you would expect from an entry level, apart from the main dining room, which is, as I say, fantastic quality. When you have tiers like this, you should have differences between the tiers. The casual should taste better than the complimentary. The speciality should taste better than the casual, and the experiential should taste better than the speciality. And you can taste the quality ingredients. You can see it in the plating. It increases through the tiers, and that's a good thing, guys, trust me, because you'd all be complaining if you paid your cover charge and it was just the same as the complimentary meal. Eating at the speciality restaurant, I had some great meals and some great dishes. If I'm picking my favorites, it's probably the sushi and the butcher's block by Dario. Really good quality, but I love Rudy's, I loved Sabatini's. Teppanyaki was fun, maybe not quite for me in that sense in terms of the entertainment, but it's fun and everyone was having fun. I really did enjoy that. But if you are paying $49 cover charge, you want it to be a good experience. You want the quality to be good, and it definitely delivered. And with 21 different bars and restaurants on Sun Princess, you do have variety, whether you want to eat Asian, whether you want to have traditional dining, whether you want Italian, whether you want a steak experience. It's all there. Crown Grill is great as well, actually, I should say that. It's all there for you. Do get your reservations in, get them in early, because the specialty restaurants do book up. Even though there is so much choice, and there is plenty of space for you guys, you should get your reservations in early. You can do that in the app, you can do that by calling the Dine line, or you can do it by going to the restaurant. But you should do that. Do not be disappointed if you can't get a reservation. For breakfast, my go-to place, to be honest, is the eatery, just because it is so convenient and it is there. I've heard a few people say that it can get busy at breakfast, and maybe that is because it's not self-serve anymore. You have to obviously get to the station, decide what you want, ask, it gets served. It's good for sustainability, of course. You don't have as much food waste. But I don't think people realise you can go out of this area and towards the two specialty restaurants, Rudy's and the Butcher's Block, which is used as a spillover area for when it is busy here. But yeah, I haven't had any issues. I haven't had any issues with queuing, to be honest. I come early and then I go to the gym, and that works for me for breakfast. I also did an experiential meal. I did Spellbound, which I thought was great. It's just one of those things, it's early in its life. It's a new concept. It's one of those things that needs to be streamlined a little bit better. And if I'm correct in thinking, it will be streamlined a little better. But as an experience, it was great. I had a lot of fun. I can't tell you too much about it. All I can say is that it involves a meal, it involves magic, and it involves cocktails. Yeah, it was a lot of fun. So if you want to treat yourself, $149, the experiential dining experiences, I like them a lot. I've done the chef's table before. There was another one here, unfortunately, because it wasn't open in time. It opens on the day I leave, actually. It's called Love by Brito. It's all about love and romance. But being single, being solo, maybe that wasn't the one for me anyway. It would have left me a bit heartbroken. But overall, on the food, I've got to say, I mean, I was here to eat. That's kind of what I do, right? But overall on food, super impressed. And to see the kitchens and see how much goes into getting this right, how much Princess care about the food, it's really impressive, and definitely a big part of choosing Princess for me, or being on Princess for me, is the food itself. And I think you guys are going to enjoy it too. My one criticism of the dining experience is this place, the sushi restaurant, Makoto. Now, it was one of my favorite experiences, if not my favorite dining experience on board. The quality of the fish is amazing. I mean, watch that segment in the video. But the location, For me, no specialty restaurant should be in an open plan area, especially next to the Piazza, because the problem is, for me, I want the ambience to match a sushi bar. Like the other specialty restaurants match what they're giving. This, because it's next to the Piazza, you have pop music playing, like now there's pop music playing, or you have the entertainment, which can be incredibly loud. So it kind of took away from the experience. The experience it took away from, but it didn't take away from the food. So don't let it put you off, but it's definitely something which not annoyed me, but something I would change. I wouldn't have it here. One thing I don't like is the casino, or at least the smokiness of the casino. Now, I get why they do it. They want people to stay in here. It makes sense. They have it everywhere. You're allowed to smoke, so people don't leave. But I'm not a big gambler, I must admit. However, this is the only place that they showed us sport. So if I wanted to watch the football, which I did, the soccer for you Americans, because my team were playing, I had to come into the casino and stand and watch it. And I don't smoke. I don't like the smell of smoke. And I don't understand why they don't have a sports bar. So I can sit and have a drink and watch the sport. I mean, they have the sport, it's on in the casino. So why not put it in another bar? That would be great for me. But for me, and I'm sure for other people, the smoke is annoying. If you're a gambler, you're putting up with it. If you're not, in my case. Anyway, small gripe. All right, next up, we have staff. And I cannot say enough good things about the staff on this ship, on Sun Princess, but also on the other ship I've been on. The staff are absolutely fantastic, and I have so much respect for them. They work so hard, and they have more than one job, if you didn't know. They have more than one job that they have to do on ship. And no matter what's going on, no matter the day, no matter how tired they are, no matter all the things that can be going on in their life, they are here, and they do make your life so much better on board, asking how you are, if they can do anything to help, how your day is going, what you're up to. They remember your name, and nowadays, yes, they do have the app to check your name, but once you've seen them once or twice, they do remember your name, just in general remember your name, which is crazy because they see thousands of people. But you will not find a more friendly bunch, and trust me, it makes such a difference to have an inviting, a friendly, a warming staff on board, and there's enough staff, if you see what I mean. The passenger to staff ratio is good, so you're never struggling to find staff. They're always there, always smiling, and it's one of the top things I would say when I say to people about going with Princess. It's one of the top things, that the staff are fantastic, and everyone agrees. Everyone I've spoken to says the staff are fantastic. Even if they're complaining about something else, the comment they always say is, but the staff are fantastic, and genuinely, they are. All right, this one is not for everyone, but it's important for those who it is relevant to, and it's accessibility. And it's one thing that Princess, I know for a fact, take very, very seriously, and here's a good example of it. You have the accessible chair into the pool. You have it here in these, well, I love this space here. Look at this, back of the ship, a bar. It's called Wakeview Bar. Again, one of my favorite places on the ship. But all over in all of the pools, you have accessibility lifts. So those of you who require them can get into the pools. And there are other things too. The corridors are wide. There are accessible rooms available if you require them. There's Braille on every sign. The steps into the pools, there's normal steps, and then there's wider steps for those of you who require it too. It's something which you can see, you can feel that it's been thought about. And there are a lot of people here who have accessibility needs. There's people in wheelchairs I've seen. I've seen people with sticks, as in they're blind, and they have a stick to help them move. And I like that a lot. I like the fact that, one, you don't feel like you're a second thought, and two, that, well, you can enjoy your holiday, you can enjoy your cruise as much as the next person. Nothing is inaccessible for you. Obviously, it's not something I require, but it's definitely good to see. And if you do require it, I don't think, on Sun Princess, I'm going to be very specific here, on Sun Princess, because I'm on this ship, of course, I don't think you're going to have any issues with that. Of course, there's ramp access on and off the ship on excursion days, and also when you're embarking and disembarking the ship. And there are plenty of lifts, and we will come on to lifts on the ship's layout, but there are plenty of lifts. That's what I want to say in this segment. There are plenty of lifts, so you're not waiting forever just because you can't take the stairs. Now this one seems to be hot topic on the ship, and that's the ship's layout, because it is different to all of the other ships on Princess. It's a new style of layout from them, and I've heard people say they're not the biggest fan of it, or it takes some getting used to. I must admit, having been on a ship that has the different layout, and now having been on this ship, I quite like it for a number of reasons. One, different is not a bad thing. Change is good, and it has clearly been thought out and it has clearly been planned in a very specific way. And when you get your head around it, it makes sense, but you do need to get your head around it. Let me say that. Sky Princess and some of the other ships, or the other ships on Princess, are more open plan. They're more flowing in terms of where things are. Everything is in the same place. So once you've been on one, maybe you know exactly where to go on another, which is a good thing. However, there were a few times when I was on Sky Princess that, because it is so open plan and you can see far, that you feel that there's a lot of people on board when it's at capacity. Now, you don't feel overcrowded, I'm not saying that, but you can feel it because you can see it. This ship is a bit more compartmentalized, let's say. It's more sectioned off or sectioned out. And the benefit of that is you feel like you're in your own little area and you don't see beyond and see the people. This ship has been at capacity the entire time I've been on it, but I haven't felt busy. I haven't felt crowded. I haven't felt overbearing. But equally, despite it being compartmentalized, I haven't felt claustrophobic. It just worked. And yes, okay, because it's like that, it might be a little harder to find things. So my top tip is, on your first day, don't just come and run straight to the bar. Come on board and walk the ship. Look at the maps. Walk the ship, because there are maps everywhere, in the stairwells, in the corridors. There are maps. Of course, you have the digital screens with the digital map as well. There's signage that points to where you are and where things are. And it says, go this way for that restaurant, or go this way for those staterooms. And if you look for it, you'll find it, and then you have your app as well. But once you get your head round, I mean, for me, it was get your head round back, front, well, I know it's not called that, but back, front, left, right, port, starboard, forward, and then midship as well. Once I started to get my head around that and then work out where things are, and you can always use the Piazza as like the hub of where to go, so you can always come back to the middle, find the Piazza, because it's on 3 levels, and go around, then, yeah, once it didn't take me very long to wrap my head around it, and then it was pretty straightforward, I must say. But for the people who have always done it in a certain way, they're going to compare it to other ships, and I think that's unfair, because Sun Princess is an amazing ship, and it isn't a new style, and it is different, and should be compared to Sun Princess. And yeah, that's all I have to say on that. Embrace change, and walk the ship the first day, because that will sort your life right out. The only thing I would say is, whilst there are lots of info boards, there are lots of digital boards, there's lots of ship information, let's say, and even in your room you get information each day about when things are open for that day, so it is very tailored and very specific. The only thing I would say, there's a few things where I would say, okay, an additional sign would be helpful. Sabatini's Speciality restaurant, for example, the sign is on the floor, and I noticed people were walking past, so like, come on, put a sign on the wall. So there's a few things that can be tweaked, but again, these are the teething problems on a new ship. So yeah, I can't complain on those things. Those things will get sorted, I'm sure of that. But overall, I'm happy with the layout, and I bet those people who are not, if they spent either a bit more time on it or walked the ship, or came back on again, then they would start to appreciate this ship, Sun Princess, for what it is, without comparing it to the other ones. The obvious question for me is, Joe, what's it like to solo travel on a cruise ship? Well, it's not as bad as what you think. There's plenty of things to do. There's plenty of opportunities to meet people. And I think people do come up to you a bit more when you are on your own. I mean, I've had a lot of questions of people saying, oh, are you on your own? Is this your first cruise? La, 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 you know, questions like this. So I think you're naturally more open to meeting people. There's, as I say, plenty of events. There is a singles-only event, which I didn't go to, but I'm sure people do, where you can meet people. The staff, as I say, the staff impact that because they're so friendly. They stop and chat, and I end up apologizing, saying, I'm sorry, guys, you can see I've been alone, because I'm just like, with everything coming out. But amongst the activities, the entertainment, the excursions, the random meeting of people, and the opportunities to meet people, let's say, it's not as bad as what you'll think. Like, I've been fine. Okay, there's some moments on the ship, but for personal reasons, that I notice couples. But if I was in a normal phase, I don't think I would do that. And I was solo on the last cruise, and I was all good. So I wouldn't not cruise because you're going solo. You will meet people. Maybe you'll meet another solo person, and that would be fantastic. But solo travel is not for everyone, but I always encourage solo travel for people because it is an amazing way to travel. And remember, you're on your own schedule in that sense. You can do what you want. If you want to do something, you do it. If you don't want to, you don't. You don't have to do things for other people. And cruising is no exception to that. In terms of excursions and restaurant bookings and whatever, it doesn't get in the way of anything. It's more in your head, right? And yeah, no fears from me. I would definitely do it again as a solo traveler. And if you're thinking about it, I encourage you to do it too. All right, one of the most important parts of cruising are the shore excursions. And that's not a huge amount to say on this, other than, of course, you're going to take shore excursions, and you can plan those in multiple ways. Information is available everywhere in your stateroom, on the app, at this space here, where you can come and talk about shore excursions and book them. I think you can book them in advance, or at least view them in advance for sure. You can definitely do that. And I definitely recommend it. But again, as with everything on Princess, you can tailor it to you. There's different price points. You can do DIY. You can walk off and just wander around the city that you're in and do it yourself. But I do recommend the shore excursions. Haven't done as many as I would like this time because I've been busy filming for you guys. But last time when I took them, they were all fantastic, and they work with very knowledgeable local guides. It's all set up very well. It's all very well planned for you. And the benefit is, if things are running late or if something happens, you're protected to get back to the cruise ship. If you're DIY, the ship's probably going to leave without you if you don't make it back on time. So definitely make it back on time. Do not miss the ship. And it's very clear what time you need to come back. But there are so many opportunities, multiple opportunities in each port. So for instance, you land in, right now we're in La Spezia, so you can go off to the Tuscan Hills, you can go off to Florence, you can go off to Pisa and see the Leaning Tower of Pisa. You can do all sorts of things which are there for you. And well, it would be a bit boring overall if you spent 2 weeks on a ship and stayed on the ship. So make the most of the shore excursions and yeah, enjoy your time exploring a little bit of each place. Oh, this is probably the most boring thing you'll ever hear in one of these videos. But in terms of the layout or just ease of getting around, the lifts are amazing. Each floor or each section has, 6 lifts? And you don't open the door and go in as you would normally would. It's a smart lift. So you have a panel here, you press the number that you want to go to, so deck 17, and then it will give you a letter, and that's automatically going to take you there. And it is genuinely smart. You don't have to wait long. They're not crowded. Everything works. There's not groups of people waiting for the lifts. Lifts are a big plus on some Princess. Boring part over. Let's take the lift. Entertainment. Now, there is a lot of entertainment and a lot of activities happening on this ship, and some of it is absolutely fantastic. So I've never been bored, I've never struggled with things to do. There's all sorts of different things, from music to the Princess Arena shows, to quiz shows and game shows and bingo and all sorts of things. Singers and violinists and pianists, and the list goes on. Honestly, you are not going to get bored on this ship. And really, you're not going to get bored on the ship because there's just a little bit of something for everyone. And that's an important point. There's a little bit of something for everyone. And not everything is going to interest you, so you don't have to go to it. Not everything is going to be your cup of tea. It's not aimed at everyone. So some things are definitely not aimed at me. And that's fine. But I can always find something at some point of something that I enjoy. And what I particularly enjoy is the live music, whether that's the pianist, the violinist, the singers. The band on ship has been fantastic. Really enjoyed them, and they do different sets, which is good. But the only thing I would say is when I am enjoying something like the live music, they're only on for 45 minutes, and I end up, and this is a good thing, I end up wanting it to go on longer and get that entertainment. And some of the quiz shows are fun, some of them are a bit cheesy, and some of them are a bit cringy. But you start to work out which ones you like and what's there for you. But overall, the quality of the shows, the quality of everything is very high, and they put a lot of thought into it. And as I say, you will find something for you and you will not be bored on this cruise ship. All right, next up we have fly and cruise. So this time, as you guys know, I flew to Barcelona from Portugal where I live. I flew to Barcelona, got on Sun Princess, and then we're going to end up in Rome, and then I go on from there. Last time, I started in the UK and ended in the UK. So what are my thoughts on that? Well, I prefer it, to be honest. I mean, it kind of is what works for you, to be honest, but from my opinion, one, you get to go to more interesting destinations because you can fly further from home. And on the first cruise, we stopped off in Guernsey, which is from the Channel Islands, but like, I'd rather be in more exotic places, right? Like Spain, like Italy. You can go for, I mean, you have all sorts of destinations. There are people on here who are from the States and they've flown over from the States to do a tour of Europe. Makes complete sense. So you have so many more opportunities and options to do that. Secondly, you get to explore or like arrive a day or two early in the city that you're starting from and explore that city first. You can add on to your holiday and then take the cruise. I didn't get to do that because there were strong winds and I nearly missed the cruise. So because there were no flights leaving the island that I was on. But you have the opportunity to do that, to go out and explore, go a bit deeper than you would on the cruise in that city at the start point and the end point. So again, in Rome, you can get off and go and spend a few days in Rome and really add to your holiday. So that definitely works for me. It wouldn't have been something I would have thought of before this cruise, I must admit. I would have just looked to start in the UK if that's where I was or wherever I was. But now I've done it, it makes complete sense. And come on, get amazing places like this that you wouldn't get necessarily if you were starting in the UK. I mean, you can, it depends on the length of cruise, but if you've only got a week, and you want to explore some places which are a bit more interesting, you're going to need to jump on the plane. And let's be honest, air travel isn't that expensive. Build it into your holiday and enjoy it. All right, it would be unfair of me to be on a ship and not mention seasickness. Now, the one thing I will say, it surprised me how stable this ship is. But when it comes to seasickness, I'm a complete wimp. So I definitely got seasick, even on the little motion in the ocean, let's say. So do not forget your seasickness tablets. Bring them, because once I took them, I was okay. But seasickness is a thing, and I've definitely been in worse. It wasn't rough at all, and actually it's a bit embarrassing to say that I got seasick, or like felt a bit weird. But definitely bring seasickness tablets, because it is a factor. No matter how big and how stable the ship is, and it is, you're going to feel it if you feel it. So have some just in case. Not really an opinion, just a reminder for you guys. Right, I should probably talk to you guys about the medallion on my wrist here. This thing, this little coin, let's say, which makes life on board so much easier. And we can talk about the medallion and the app, I think, because they are linked for sure. But this thing, this is what helps make the experience more premium, more easy for sure. So when you come onto the ship and you get off the ship on excursions, you just scan this on a little reader and they can check you in and check you out. Nothing else doing it. It takes 2 seconds, honestly, pops up on their screen and they mark you on and off the ship. So they know that everyone's back on board. There's no running around looking for people. There's no mistakes there. The other cool thing that I like, I mentioned it in one of the other videos, when you approach your door or your room, your medallion unlocks your door. You don't have to touch anything. You don't have to do anything. Just walk in, open the door, and it's there for you. Same with when you are around the ship. So the staff hold these, well, let's call them phones and iPads, but they hold these devices that when you're nearby, within a certain radius, your face, your name, your stateroom will pop up. So they can come up to you and say, "Good evening, Joe. How are you doing, Joe? Here's your drink, Joe, that you've ordered." And that does make a big difference for the premium feeling, for feeling like you're not a stranger on ship, and it really does help. And yeah, I enjoy that a lot. It makes it very easy. If you are in a restaurant or you're ordering something and they can't find you, they just say, scan your medallion. Again, you scan your medallion and it's done. Now, the other thing I would say is the app pairs with that very nicely. And that will give you all of the information that you need of your reservations, your dinner reservations, what's happening on ship, where you are on ship, the internet, all sorts of things. And these two things together, the app, which I find easy to use, it's all there, and the Medallion definitely improves it. And I'm not quite sure how it works on other cruise ships, so I can't compare. But all I do know is on Princess, it works well. Of course, it's technology. So some people have some teething problems with it. Some people have some confusion with it. But that's why you have places like Oceanfront, where you can go and ask staff. They're there most of the day. You can ask staff questions and they'll help you out. But this Medallion, the Medallion class, definitely improves life on the ship. And if you're not been on Princess before, you're going to like that. All right, last segment, guys, I promise. I've come to Coffee and Cones to give you my final thoughts, my final wrap-up. Would I book on Sun Princess again? Would I cruise again? What are my thoughts on the cruise? But to do that, I'd have to eat something and drink something. And look at this for coffee art. We've got a little bear on top of my latte. Made that look super easy when he was doing it. And then one of the premium desserts included in the Plus package and the Premier package. You can go and get a choice of these Premier ice cream desserts. Looks insane. I mean, he put this in. This is this is ridiculous. He told me there was no calories in it, but I'm not sure if he was telling the truth. What do you reckon? But, well, let's try it before I get into it. In fact, I need to put you guys down. I can't try it with one hand. Oh, man. I hate to stand on the scales when I get home for how much weight I put on this trip, but we can't think about that now, can we? Oh, that is ridiculous. Vanilla ice cream, chocolate sauce, raspberry sauce, sprinkles, bits of chocolate, caramel. What is this? Praline. That praline is good. And of course the coffee. I made a joke when he gave it to me. I pretended to put sugar straight in it. I couldn't do that, of course, could I? But I will have to drink it. Very good. Anyway, what are my overall thoughts? Well, this is my second ever cruise, and my thoughts on cruising is, it's reinforced that. Why would I cruise? Cruising wouldn't be my #1 choice of travel, I must admit that, and I'm open with that, but I do enjoy it. And there are a number of reasons why I would do it. One, if I want to totally relax, and I think it's a better option than having a hotel weekend away or a week away at a hotel where you just want to relax, switch off and do nothing. I think cruising is perfect for that because the level of service is a step above. You feel relaxed. You're pampered essentially for a week, if that's what the length of time that you're doing. I can definitely see that. I would also do it where I want to use it as a taster for different locations. So for instance, we've been to a number of locations in Spain and in Italy on this trip. Okay, maybe I like Florence and I want to go back to Florence and dive deeper. Maybe I like Gibraltar and I want to go back. And that, I think, is where cruising comes into its element. It's perfect for those type of things. And then the last one would be going to places which are better done on a cruise, like the Norwegian fjords, or like Alaska, or like Antarctica. Those are definitely the reasons I would do it. So I enjoy cruising, and I was a skeptic when I first came on my first cruise. I'm converted, so I'd definitely do it again. Would I come back on Sun Princess? What's my overall thoughts on Sun Princess? The answer to that would be yes. I really enjoyed Sun Princess. It's an incredible ship. It's everything you would want on a cruise ship, for sure. But you have to understand something. You're on a cruise ship with thousands of people, and each of us have different interests, different likes, different things that we want to get out of this. And Princess's job, and every cruise ship's job, is to cater to as many of those people as possible in the best way it can. So, okay, I've heard someone say, oh, the gym isn't as big as it could be. Well, what do you mean it's not as big as it could be? It's never busy, it's never overrun, and you have a good quality gym on board. Oh, the quality of the food is better at a fine dining restaurant. Yes, because a fine dining restaurant only has to focus on the best food at a Michelin star restaurant, for instance. When I say things are good, and when you see in my reviews and I say, this is delicious, it is objectively delicious. But it's also in the context of what I'm eating. If I'm in the eatery, I'm not going to judge it against the experiential dining experience. If I'm in the experiential dining experience, I'm not going to judge it against a Michelin star restaurant. I am on a cruise ship, and you have to remember that. And I think Sun Princess and Princess Cruises have done a fantastic job at putting this together As I say, there's refinement, there's learning, and it will get better and better. And by the time you get on it after watching this, I hope it's working at its peak of delivering what you want in a cruise. But it's very, very good. You can find niggly bits to complain about, as I have done in this video. But there's so much we can talk about that's fantastic on this cruise ship. And yeah, I've really enjoyed myself. I will definitely be back on another cruise. I'm not sure where, I'm not sure when. Maybe you'll even see more cruise videos. If you want that, put it down in the comments. And as an experience, it's been fantastic. And overall, I can't complain at all. Had a fantastic time, fantastic food, great destinations. Definitely recommend it. If that means anything to you guys, if you're hesitant about booking Sun Princess or with Princess Cruises, just do it. You are almost guaranteed to enjoy yourself. If not, just remember, you're on holiday, relax, and enjoy yourself. Anyway, guys, that will be the end of this video. It will be the end of this series. And if you've liked me as a person, if you like my reviews and my honesty, my food and my travel, then do keep watching. Please subscribe, turn the notifications on, and maybe you'll see me on another cruise in future, or I'll see you in my next video. Take care, guys.